it looks like Ted Cruz and the US Senate found all of the woke DEI grants issued by the National Science Foundation and canceled almost $2 billion worth of research. And I need to give a shout out to Iguana Lo. She made a very similar video to this, and I will tag her video below. You should go watch it. But I thought it would be really fun for us to go through the list of grants that were released and see what kind of woke DEI agenda they were pursuing. A little refresher that grants were flagged and removed because they contained either one or multiple of the words I have listed here on the screen. And this is a capture of the list of grants that were flagged and their funding was removed. You can see they identify why these grants were flagged. And again, thought it would be fun to look through. Changes and impact of right ventricle viscoelasticity. Again, I'm not a physician. Sometimes these words I have trouble pronouncing. Diseases like pulmonary hypertension and heart failure, that seems pretty important. The research team plans to engage young minds and advance the education of the next generation of bioengineers with a focus on mentoring women. Oh, I see why this grant is woke DEI, because they're focusing on mentoring the next generation of female bioengineers. You know, if they really would have changed the language around and said they're looking to educate the next generation of male bioengineers, they probably wouldn't have been flagged. It's their own fault. Okay, here's another one. Confinement-induced structural evolution of calcium magnesium carbonates in architected siliconous nanochannels. I'm not a physicist or an engineer, but this to me seems pretty important. No. Focused on training the future STEM workforce and co-creating community levels of carbon removal solutions by engaging members of underrepresented groups. Oh, I found it. This is why this grant is DEI. Again, if they would have just focused on educating overrepresented groups, you know, like white male engineers, that probably wouldn't have been flagged. Okay, here's another one. Understanding bias. There's a flag right there in AI models for the prediction of infectious disease spread. Okay, I can see why this grant has been flagged. They're looking at data bias in a statistical prediction. As you can see here, these disease models are incredibly biased, and that is definitely a DEI grant. I think that's why this one was flagged. This won't be a problem in the future because when you study to be a statistician or an econometrician, you learn that every statistical model has bias, and in every research paper, you need to describe the statistical bias of that model. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem in the future. Okay, we're gonna start here. The evolutionary causes and functional consequences of dimorphism in flight, muscle size in birds. Okay, that seems pretty on brand for the National Science Foundation. A postdoc and principal investigator will compile a data set of skeletal measurements of at least 5 male and 5 female specimens. Oh, I see what's going on here. They want to look at male and female